Hello everyone, my name is Nurgul Ashraf. This is an introduction to ProcessGraphQL module. The video is targeted to ProcessWire users. I'm assuming that you know how pages, templates, and fields work. I'm also assuming that you are new to GraphQL. That's why when I'm going to talk about GraphQL, I'll go slower, more detailed. And when I'm going to talk about ProcessWire, I'll go faster. In this video, we're going to walk through on how we would install a ProcessGraphQL module to our existing ProcessWire website, and expose our GraphQL API without a single line of code. So here you can see that I've prepared a fresh install of ProcessWire website. This is a Skyscrapers demo by Ryan Kramer, which is exactly what Ryan hosts here. I basically took his latest template files for this demo and put together with the old Skyscrapers demo that was for ProcessWire version 2, upgraded the ProcessWire to version 3, and now we have a Skyscrapers profile for ProcessWire version 3. You can grab this profile to test this module or any other module. I'll leave the link in the video description for this profile. I think this profile is perfect for these kind of use cases, for demonstration and the like. So what we're going to do, we're going to pretend that this is our existing website, and we're going to install our ProcessGraphQL module to this website and expose our GraphQL API without a single line of code. To do that, we're going to go to ProcessWire admin, to our website, go to modules site, add new. At this moment, the module is not published to the modules directory of the ProcessWire. You'll have to install it with the URL. I'll leave the URL in the video description. This video, I'm going to grab it from the GitHub repository of the module. Now ProcessWire will download the module and place it at site modules ProcessGraphQL. So here's our module. I'm going to press install. We installed our module. As soon as you install the ProcessGraphQL, you can go to setup GraphQL. And now here what you see is a graphical. Graphical is a tool for GraphQL. It is created by the creators of the GraphQL. It's basically going to be your best friend when you work with the GraphQL API. It has a bunch of functionalities. It auto-completes your queries. It shows if there are any errors in your queries. So again, this is a graphical. It has three main sections. In this section, we're going to build our query. Here, we're going to see results of our requests. And this is a documentation explorer. This is where you basically go to see what kind of content is available through your GraphQL API. So just get started. So documentation works like this. It's a field, and the value type it returns. When you build your query, you just start with the root and just go as deep as you want and select field, subfields until you get to the primitive values. So you'll see what I mean. We just typed query. You open, and now it expects something here, because if you click this, you'll see that it has fields. If some value type is subfields, you have to specify, you have to choose one of them. So these are the only fields that are by default enabled by ProcessGraphQL module. The logout is an authentication field. You see here logout because I'm already logged in as an admin to this website. And the me field represents the current user of the app. You can use me field to find out who you are. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Now we specified me. It returns user, which has fields, name, email, ID. I'm gonna choose, we're gonna write all of them. Now you can see there are no errors. For example, if it was like this, here you can see there is an error. Now there are no errors. I'm going to execute this. And now you can see that our GraphQL already working, it's functioning. It accepts queries, it responds to our queries. This is basically how you will build your queries with your documentation. You just start with the root and go deep till you get to the primitive values like string, integer, float, or enum. So this is all good. What we want to do, we want to expose our pages through our GraphQL API. To do that, by default, the ProcessGraphQL module handles only those pages, handles only the content of your website that you explicitly specify, that explicitly tell the module that you want to expose through the GraphQL API. To do that, you go to the modules, configure, ProcessGraphQL. So you go basically you go to the configuration page of the module. Now here, these are the main configuration options: legal templates and legal fields. Legal templates and legal fields basically means that you want ProcessGraphQL module to handle pages with these templates and these fields. So what we want to expose pages with the Skyscraper template, because that's the main content of our website, right? So we're going to select Skyscraper. I'm going to select fields that we want template Skyscraper to be. So any fields that we want to expose for our pages, for our Skyscraper pages. So I'm going to select images, year, architects, floral, map, body, title, height. You don't have to specify all of them. Just the fields that you want. After you do that, you submit your configuration. Go back to your GraphQL. Now here we can see, besides query operation, we also have a mutation operation. I'm going to show a little bit later how you would use this one. For now, I want to see what we can query. Now, first we had logout and me. Now we have a Skyscraper field, which if we click, we'll see that it returns a page array that stores on the page with the template Skyscraper. And that's exactly what we want. So again, field, type it returns. Unlike these fields, the field Skyscraper accepts an argument. In GraphQL, arguments are named arguments. So you have to specify name and then the value type and the value. So again, field, value type, and the argument also corresponds to this format, field, and the value. And this one tells that it equals to false, which means it is optional. You don't have to specify it. So for now, we're gonna not use it. Again, you start with the query. In query, select Skyscraper. In Skyscraper, what we have these fields. Let's choose get total to see how many skyscrapers we have. Now, there are no errors. I'm going to execute this. Now we have this much skyscrapers. Let's request some more. So I want to show you that the fields, now these fields, this is a page array, and these are the fields of the page array, which has get total, get limit, get start. They exactly correspond to ProcessWire API. Here you can see page array, get total, get limit, get start. So these are the exact same methods that are here, and will return exact those values that they will return. But besides these fields and methods, page array contains pages, and in PHP you would for each through them to get those pages. And your GraphQL API, you're going to use the list field. And here the list field and the value type it returns. Now, unlike these value types, for example this one is in a square bracket, which basically means that it will return an array. Let's see what kind of fields the subfields field list have. Again, these are the built-in fields. These fields exactly corresponds to regular page fields: ID, name, URL, created, modified. So yeah, ID, name, URL, modified should be created. HTTP URL also available. These are the fields by default enabled for each page for the ProcessGraphQL module. By the ProcessGraphQL module. You can disable them or enable more if, in the module's configuration page. And also it has fields that we enabled, that we selected as legal. These are the fields that we just selected. So let's list those fields: ID, URL, maybe title. There are no errors. I'm going to execute this. And we received an array of skyscrapers with the exact fields that we requested. And this is one of the selling points of the GraphQL. You get exactly what you request for. So get total list, and in list an array of pages with the properties that exactly you requested. Not all available, but exactly what you want. Let's query some more. For example, architects is an interesting field because it returns another page array that has get total, and you can also list those architects. So we get total of architects for each pages, for each skyscraper. And then we're gonna get title and the URL of each architect. And also let's make sure that all our pages, again and again, here's skyscraper, named argument S accepts a selector type, which is a ProcessWire selector, which we know which is just a string, selector string. And let's make sure that architects. Let's make sure that skyscrapers have at least one architect. There are no errors. I'm going to execute this. We got our result. There's some weird thing happening. It says we have total 1 architect here, but the list is empty. Same here, 2 architects, list is empty. So why is that? I'm going to repeat this again. The ProcessGraphQL module will only handle those pages that you explicitly tell them to handle. And while we did that, we want to request pages with a skyscraper template through our GraphQL API. We did not say that we want pages with the template architect to be exposed with our GraphQL API. That's exactly why this list is empty. This also demonstrates that the module will make sure that only content that you specified is available through your GraphQL API, and users will not be able to get to, for example, pages that has other templates through fields like page template or through built-in fields like siblings, parents, children, and the like. So to get our architects, we just need to go and select, make sure that architect template is legal. Go back, try this again, and it worked. So now we can see also architects too. This is basically how you would build your queries and get JSON response from your GraphQL API for anything you want to use it. Now I'm going to show you how you can create pages with your GraphQL API. So as usual, you start with the root, which is mutation. You go down and see what you can do. In the mutation, you can create skyscraper, create architect, update skyscraper. We're going to create skyscraper. Create skyscraper. Now, field create skyscraper accepts page argument. Now, unlike these arguments that are equal to false, which means they are optional. In create skyscraper, the page is marked required. Here you can see with the exclamation mark. So this argument is required. We have to provide that. And what it is, what type of value it is. Oh, it has fields, so it's an object. Okay, we have to specify those fields, and in those fields, these three fields are required. We have to specify those. A parent, let's see what it is. Oh, it's an ID or the path of the parent page. Okay, parent. Let's choose a parent for our new skyscraper. Cities. We're gonna choose Boise. It has only 2 skyscrapers, so we can easily tell when we create new one. It's 4121. The ID of our parent is 4121. Name, title. So name is a ProcessWire page name. Title, field type page title. So we know those. And those are the primitive, string primitive types. So we don't have to specify something. There are no subfields for them. I'm going to say new sky. And title is new sky. There's still error. Must have selection subfields. That's because we specified, well, we wrote the field, we wrote the argument of the field. Here, this one corresponds to this, but we didn't specify what we want in return. And what we can get in return, page type with a template skyscraper. So obviously when you create a skyscraper, you get the page that you created. And these are the fields that you can get. We're gonna get ID, URL, name. So it says there are no errors. We're gonna try this. The API responded, create skyscraper null. And we have some errors. We have one error that says you are not allowed to add children to parent 4121. Why is that? Again, as I mentioned before, the module will handle only those pages that you explicitly specify again. So while we did make sure that we can create Skyscraper, that it should handle pages with the template Skyscraper, and we are trying to create a Skyscraper. Now you might think, what this has to do with the parent. Now when you create, when a user tries to create a page with, through your GraphQL API, the ProcessGraphQL module will make sure that it has appropriate permissions. Now it will obviously check that if the user has a permission to create a page, we are a super user, we definitely have a permission to create a page. And it will also check permission if we have permission to add children to the parent of the page we are trying to create. And since the CD template is not legal, we didn't mark it as legal, it will assume that those pages are off the limits, including the fact that you cannot add children to those pages too. That's exactly why you are not allowed, even if you are a super user, to add children to the parent for the 121. What we need to do, we need to enable, make the CD template legal. Let's go back, try this again. We have no errors. It responded with the fields that we requested. It means it worked. Let's check. Boise, it has 3 skyscrapers. Well, yeah, new sky. So it worked, great. This is how you would create your pages with the GraphQL API. Let me also show you how you would update those pages. For example, you start with the mutation, update skyscraper. Now update, now skyscraper. Update skyscraper field receives 2 arguments, which is an ID, argument ID, which is integer, and page. So argument ID integer, so it's obviously the ID of the page that you're trying to update. Let's find out the ID of our new page, new skyscraper, 5750. 5750. Also, you have to notice that it says it must be an integer. And the page, that is pages with the template skyscraper. So these are the fields that you can update. We're just going to populate the fields that we didn't when we created the page. So height, floors, year 2017, but also specify architects. Field architect receives an array of integers. I hope it is obvious that those array of integers are the IDs of architects. Eugene Kohn, 4476. Let's choose more. Adrian Smith, 4383. And then we can also specify map field, which receives input field map marker that has subfields, which are latitude, something like this, longitude, like this. We'll see where it is then, after K24. No errors, no, do we have errors? Subfields, we have to specify We have to tell what we want in return. Update. We did update. Now we specified field. We passed ID page, ID page. Now what we need to tell what we want in return. Let's get ID, name, and URL of our page, of the skyscraper that we are updating. Let's try this. It returned with the fields that we requested. No errors, it means it worked. Let's check. Boise, new sky, edit. Oh, yes. 2017, 1001, Eugene Cohn, Adrian Smith. And our skyscraper is located in Libya. So this is how you would query, create, update your pages with the GraphQL API. Now at this point, your GraphQL API is not public yet because it's located in ProcessWire setup GraphQL. Here you can see that it is not open to the public. ProcessWire will not allow users that are not logged in to get to this page. To expose your API to the public, you can go to Github repository of the module, and the API section will walk you through exactly how you would do that. But I found it very repetitive, and I created this helper tool, a GraphQL pages generator. It generates the GraphQL and graphical templates, template files, and pages for you. I'm going to press this. Let's see. Yeah, GraphQL and graphical pages, your public API. Now, first I'm going to show you that this is closed to the public. I'm going to open in another browser where I'm not logged in. So here you can see that the GraphQL API that we are playing here is not available to the public. But what is available to the public after we generated our GraphQL pages is here. Here is a public face of your API. Anybody can see what is available for your API. You can show this to third-party developers that built some applications upon your on top of your API or something. So let's make sure, let's find out who we are. We are a guest. We're not logged in, and the guest can see cities, skyscrapers. They can log in and find out who he is. Now, what we want to make sure is we want to allow users with the role skyscraper editor to create and edit skyscrapers, right? So to do that, you have to use the access permissions of your templates and fields. So basically, you can go to template skyscraper in the access roles. Just make sure that a skyscraper editor can edit and create pages. Now I have to enable page edit for skyscraper editor. Now in here we can, skyscraper editor, edit. It's also marked that it can create. Save this. Also we need to create a user, let's call it Bob, that has only skyscraper editor permission. Need some password. Let's here we have a password. I'm gonna publish this user. Now I'm gonna log in as Bob here. So here how we can log in, name, password, response, name is Bob, password is, and it wants us to specify something in response. We're going to just get a message. Try this, successful login. Let's make sure it worked. Yes, we are Bob. Refresh this, and now you can see that Bob can create and update Skyscraper. If we log out, and refresh this, you can see that a guest has no right to. And by the way, I'm not specifying query here because by default it is query. You don't have to specify, but when you want to do some mutation operation, you have to specify that it is a mutation. But by default, it's a query. Yeah, we are guest, and a guest can only see city skyscraper, but cannot edit or create them. Now we log in as Bob, and let's try to create. Well, to create, you have to specify that it's a mutation. Create skyscraper. Page parent is Boise, which is 4121, and the name is Sky. New Sky 2. Title is New Sky 2. In response, we want name, URL, and ID. No errors. Execute this. Response, no errors, means it worked. Let's find out. This is where I'm logged in. Cities, Boise, New Sky 2. Yeah, it worked. So this is how you would configure your API so that only certain users can create certain content through your API. Also, I wanted to mention that it also checks that a Skyscraper editor has the right to add children to the page, to the template city. If we check the template city, we can see that Skyscraper editor can add children. If I remove this and save, refresh this, we do have a create skyscraper field here, but if we execute this, it will say that you're not allowed to add children to the parent. So make sure that it's the only error. So name doesn't conflict. So everything is good. We execute. You're not allowed to add children. That's because it has no add children right permissions. Add children permissions. I'm going to save this. Execute this again. And it worked. And we check. Yes, it created the third skyscraper. Another thing that I wanted to show you, not only you have to specify, not only you have to tell that the skyscraper editor can request skyscrapers, request pages with template skyscraper, but also, for example, title. And you can see that a Skyscraper editor cannot get the fields that we set as legal. That's because you have to explicitly set the permissions in the access roles of your fields for the Skyscraper editor. And here you can see there is no title. I'm going to go to fields, title, access, enable access roles, and make sure that Skyscraper editor has view permission. Save this, and after I refresh it, I'm going to type title here. Now it is available. Now here the title is available. Ensure it returns titles. This is exactly so this is how you would not only choose what kind of users can see what kind of pages, but you can also make sure that certain pages can see only certain fields of those pages and the others see the other fields. I just want to demonstrate that you can fine-tune your permissions not only with the access roles with the templates, but access roles with the fields also. So this is basically what I wanted to show you. This is how you would create your GraphQL API with the ProcessGraphQL module and expose your GraphQL API with your existing website without changing any structure of your website, without changing any the look of your website, of your existing website. Here I'm not logged in as a super user, and everything should work as expected. And besides your existing website, should also have your GraphQL API. So this is what I wanted to show you. I'm going to leave the link in the links to the module, to the Skyscrapers profile, to the support forum thread. I'll love to get some feedback on this video and on the module too. Here, get some feedback here, or get in the module's support forum thread. Thanks for watching. You have a nice day.